if I tried to do this on my own, I know I wouldn't. I would have been spending more money. I know that I would have been spending a lot more time just trying to make sense of everything that's happening. I know that I would feel a little bit more isolated and without some of the tools that are there to kind of facilitate things. And I know just as I look out to the future, that the group provides access to everything from like a support network to chat with to actual professionals that can help along the way, and just information that can be at people's fingertips to really not just look at where you are in the present, but where you are moving toward in the future in ways that maybe can help you move in a way that you'd like to, and to try and help you um, take back or take control in as much as you're able to, and to kind of grow that space in a way that's healthy for you and or your family in the days and years to come. So I found it an incredibly valuable resource. I'm so glad I lucked out by coming across it on a Google search and bumping into your TED Talk, which is how I first encountered it, and then started to dig around some more. But yeah, I'm very grateful, and hope that others are benefiting now. I know that several are that I've come across in some of the discussions, but hope that others are doing so just as much, and it'll be just as useful of a tool in the future. So it was a little bit of a complicated relationship where I was trying to spend as much time in London with my partner as possible. So at that point, I tried to start having conversations around how we could be functional co-parents, and we went to mediation. And there were things that each of us found to be problematic with regards to what the other one was putting forward in co-parenting agreements. I'm sure she felt like my requests were just as ridiculous as I felt her requests were. I encouraged my partner or ex-partner to use Google because there's all kinds of resources online. Um, and
Or
was told
the resource hub. We've got information about it there. She could have registered for free and find out all about it.
that's true. I think we didn't know about that at that point, but I think some of the different services that you provide would be absolutely crucial for me at various points in my life. Like sometimes I've lived overseas and been away from like family and friend networks and things like that. And um, there are things that you had shared that I've not taken advantage of, but may need to in the next year, because Natalie still hasn't been willing to have discussions around finances, and so some of the different options that you'd presented in terms of like, here's somebody that can help really lay out where you are both in the short term and long term, and like how you can kind of negotiate that path. I think it's incredibly helpful to know that those resources exist because I didn't really know about any of those possibilities. The other piece, which was helpful, was a little bit of interaction with you, Susie, because there were a couple of times where you really helped me kind of sequence out both my understanding of the process as well as like, this is something that you need to do yesterday, and these are
Yes.
things that you might want to consider as you move forward, and probably this is your first step and this is your second, because otherwise it's a lot of things that are out there. For the most part, I thought the descriptions and roles, were all quite clear. But understanding, you know, some of these you really might want to be able to activate immediately, and this is what they can do for you. Others are potentially long term, and some of the things that you shared also weren't just the expertise of people, but even platforms and things like that you could access different tools online and things within that nature. So all of those things were helpful to know. I've tapped into probably a couple of the tools that you'd put forward too, from um, different kind of groups, advocacy groups, as well as software platforms for communications that you'd recommended. And I did the monthly meetup a few different times, and um, even though it sounds a little bit weird, it was also helpful to hear people that were going through very different things than I was, but there was always a little bit of an overlap. And if not a big overlap, even with the little overlaps, there tended to be a takeaway or two from what was being shared or what was being listened to. And I found those to be helpful. And the chats, I think, were both posing circumstances and situations, again, might not be directly similar to mine, but that you could look through a couple and almost invariably find something that makes you kind of pause and reflect and say, oh, I need to start doing that, or I haven't considered this. And so there's just great takeaways from that interchange that's happening, both kind of statically in the chats and then the live interaction that's going on. And I think if you have something that you're really wrestling with in the live discussions, you can get feedback both from people that have been there and done that, sometimes professionals, and even just others that are kind of down in the mud with you trying to slog through. But just having different perspectives and areas of expertise is just really invaluable.
And just because I like to end on something really positive, it's 5 years from now. What's the situation?
The plan is that I'm talking with my daughter every day. That at a minimum, we're having several months together over the summer and holidays, and seeing each other some weeks in the interim. And yeah, that I've found a way to have my ex not feel threatened by the role that I'm playing in my daughter's life, and that she has a sense of a lot of care and support from both of us, and that all of this stuff is a painful but very distant memory. So we'll see if we can get there, but there's a lot of different permutations that are possible, but that's the hope.
That's my manifest. I'm manifesting it for you now, because that's definitely what you and your daughter deserve, and her mum, because this is all good for her mum too. Brilliant. Thank you so much. I'll let you enjoy the rest of your day.
And all right. Well, thank you, Susie. It was good to see you.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.